Ah, yes, key to victory. I played this scenario a few months ago trying to showcase an easy way to get close to the max score of 500. But, to be honest, I'm not very impressed by my own gameplay in that video. So, I want to do it faster than previously. Much faster. 8 days last time? Let's improve upon that. This is a small-sized map with not too much going on. We can only play as Red, who starts off in the southeast. Our opponent, Blue, is kept in check by border guards. To pass the Red border guard in the overworld, we need to visit the Red Keymaster's tent in the underground, while the dark blue border guard in the underground needs the dark blue Keymaster's tent in the overworld to be visited. Very unhandy locations, but we can handle it, right? Right, lads? Looking at the border guard locations, I think we can all agree that it's faster to go through the red one compared to the blue one. Passing these border guards are also the only paths to blue, apart from Dimension Door and Fly of course, which I will not use this time, as it would definitely be slower, even if I somehow found the Grail early while playing Conflux to get all spells. Speaking of the Grail, it is always located in an 8-tile radius of this spot, making it quite easy to find, even without the obelisks. Another major thing of note is the prison. Locked behind these bars is Adela, who starts off at level 7, but more importantly, she has 5 angels on her person. In order to find quick victory on Key to Victory, she is key. All this makes the plan pretty straightforward. I need one hero to reach the Red Keymaster's tent ASAP, while a second hero goes full Michael Schofield and breaks Adela out of prison. The distance to the Keymaster's tent is long enough that I should prioritize a logistics hero, but I still need the army strength to split my army in two, in order to take on fights on 2 fronts. This gives me an excellent excuse to finally play some Inferno, as Inferno has the ultimate Ollis hero, Pyre, logistics, and ballista. It truly doesn't get better than this. I telepathically hear you thinking, but Inferno's early army is pretty bad, and you said you need a big early army. What gives? Well, the ballista gives, and familiars aren't all that bad in my opinion. Sure, Conflux would definitely be a stronger choice, but who wants to watch Luna or CL or Monair every single time? Not me. I save them for special occasions. Alright, I think that'll do it. Let's set this bad boy up. Me as Inferno and Pyre, check. Opponent as Castle, as in my mind, Castle is the mortal enemy of Inferno, so it's thematic. Check. Gold bonus as I need the cash early. Check. It's time to wreak some havoc. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. In order to get my preferred seed, I enter the sawmill fight to the north and reset twice. I leave all but one imp in town and collect as much gold as possible before heading further west. All this gold lets me hire a second hero, which in this case is Sarfax. After leaving everything except one hellhound in town, he heads east to pick up some gold. This gold is not used to hire a third hero, but instead I upgrade the Imp Crucible. On day 2, Sarfax goes back into town and upgrades all imps to familiars, and then recruits all available army, leaving me with a whole 10 gold left, and then heads out towards Pyre. Pyre, with her superior amount of movement points, trades Sarfax, taking all of his army before attacking the nearby serpent flies. They respect this awesome army and decide to join, which is good for a couple of reasons. More army is always good, and they are fast, making fights against melee creatures quite a bit easier, as they can lure enemies to attack Pyre's ballista without taking too much damage on the flies. Anyway, Pyre trades with Sarfax again, giving the familiars and gogs back, keeping the hellhounds, serpent flies, and the ballista. Now she sets her sights on the underground. Sarfax, on the other hand, makes his way towards the prison to set Adela free, hopefully. On day 3, Pyre finds the underground guards, Whites. I, for some reason, split the hellhounds, then engage the fight. Auto wins, but I want to lose as few creatures as possible, so I do this myself. Whites are actually one of the natural counters to the ballista. at least before you can upgrade artillery, get archery, or a higher attack stat. This is because the ballista won't always do the 18 damage required to take out the white, which they would then just regenerate afterwards. Very bad. This makes my strategy a bit odd. I hide the serpent flies behind the 1 stacks of hellhounds, allowing them to get a hit in every other turn, like a Temu version of a harpy hag. A much better strategy would be to bait the whites into ballista range, then fly the flies over to the other side of the battlefield, and then use the every other turn hit strat while the whites attack the ballista. Does this make sense? Maybe I'll illustrate something here, who knows. Anyway, my actual strategy works well enough, and by well enough, I mean it takes a long time, but I only lose 2 hellhounds in the end. Not too shabby, and you're not missing out when I skip over this. Afterwards, Pyre goes underground and heads straight for the Keymaster's tent. Sarfax elegantly passes by the scholar and sees that the prison is guarded by lots of stone golems. This is both good and kinda annoying. This fight is definitely winnable, but it's also gonna be so slow. Here I make another minor mistake. It would make the fight faster and safer if I had the familiars in the lower slot, in order to make taking retaliations with the 1 stacks easier, but it is what it is. I use the imp 1 stack and a familiar 1 stack to keep some of the golem stacks at an arm's length, while the gogs fire away at the iron golem stack. This separates the golems, allowing the big familiar stack to take out the iron golems in 2 hits. Afterwards, this becomes a bit of a kiting exercise. I can use 1 familiar 1 stack to keep the golem separated, while taking out 1 stack at a time with the gogs and the big familiar stack. A few rounds of this, and I eventually just go in for a few hits with the familiars to end the fight quicker. 11 turns and -6 familiars and 1 imp later, the golems are defeated. Sarfax, by the way, and I just have to say this, is one of the absolute worst heroes in the game in my opinion. It starts off with Fireball and 1 knowledge. Fireball costs 15 spell points if you don't have fire magic, and then it would cost 12. So he has to level up to take advantage of his specialty. It's so stupid, but it's also why these old games have so much charm compared to new games. Anyway, he frees Adela, who, with her absolutely disgustingly strong army for day 3, marches straight for the red border guard. And Sarfax moves a bit around. We see a quick glimpse of blue before Pyre encounters the final obstacle on the way to the Keymaster's tent. Lots of harpies. Otto somehow wins, which he never did in practice runs, mostly due to my positioning I think. So I decide I want to see how it went. As always, he goes all in on turn 1, and the harpies, for some reason, decide to focus the 1 stacks of hellhounds over the much more threatening serpent flies. This allows the flies to do quite a bit of damage before being targeted, while the ballista obviously does major work in the background. Eventually, all we're left with is the harpy hag stack, which will never win the 1v1 versus the serpent flies, so this ends up being an easy victory. Well done, Otto. Well done. I know I have the movement to pick up gold from a chest on the way, getting a sweet 2k gold, before just about reaching the Keymaster, who happily tells me the passphrase to get past the border guard. This lets Adela pass. After finding out the passphrase stuff, it was just a joke from the Keymasters. They sure are some jokesters, those Keymasters. Before she rides up to the blue hero, Caitlyn, who's definitely gonna get absolutely smashed by the angels. And, as you can see, she was. Never close. Blue's town is close by as well, so I just walk in. Not remembering I picked up the gold with Pyre, I got a bit confused as to why I couldn't buy a hero, but it's obviously because Adela was visiting. So I sent Sarfax to get some gold and resources from the nearby campfires. I was gonna trade using the marketplace, but then I realized how stupid I sometimes am. Adela goes in the garrison, and I have to make the choice between Jabarkus or Straker, who will get a speedrun at some point at the request of this guy. Don't worry, I still remember. So I give the undead dude a test run. I keep the Walking Dead, take 4 angels, Realize I don't actually know where Blue's last hero is? Send Adela to the west to scout, seeing a blue hero. Now, it's boss fight time. Cuthbert, you're dead, mate. I gotta do this manually. I use the angels to take out the pikemen, before very slowly and very surely sending the walking dead towards the archers. My favorite part of this battle is when Straker says, "It's Strakering time," and straked all over those guys. Absolutely humiliating end to the run for poor Cuthbert, but he's definitely seen worse. Anyway, Blue is vanquished. I'm victorious. In 4 days. I'm pretty sure I'm not the first one to do this, but I'm probably the first to do it with Inferno and Straker. 446 score and Archangel rank? Never in doubt. This is absolutely the easiest scenario in the game if you ask me, and I'm absolutely positive it's not possible to do it any faster. Still, even if it was short and easy, I hope it was enjoyable to watch. It was surprisingly fun to do. If you did enjoy, I would really appreciate a like, comment and a subscription. You can even become a channel member for earlier access to videos. I hope to see you next time, and that you have a might and magically good day. Bye bye. As always, a big thank you to all my channel members, and an extra special thank you to my Ballista channel members, Escubani, Lika, Van Lunis, Rick Vishaupt, and Kat. You are all very much appreciated.